Yo, what is good, guys? My name is House Excel. Welcome in and welcome to Rushdown Uni. Today we're going to be talking about all of the universal tech in the game for Rushdown, what you have access to, what you can't do, the differences, and some of the most alien concepts in this game that people have a really hard time grasping. All right, so I'm going to break it down for you and help you understand. If at any point during this it doesn't make 100% sense, that is okay. All right, don't be afraid to reach out. Put the questions in the comments. You can go to the Rushdown Discord and contact any of the sages. The sages are knowledgeable members of the community who've been nominated for that title, and that's what we're here for. We're here to help new players, all right? So don't be shy, we don't bite. Remember, guys, that this series is for you, so if you have any topics or character things, specific tech, anything that you would like to see in the series, please let me know in the comments. That's where I'll know and what I'm going to pick at to do more content in the future, all right? And if you'd like more content like this, please leave a like on the video or a sub. It really helps support the channel. Thank you so much. Lastly, before we start, there's going to be timestamps in the bottom of the video. You feel like you already know something, feel free to skip around, all right? In addition, I do stream Rushdown pretty often, so if you have any questions, you want to chat, you want to meet, you want to play catch games, let's get it, dude. Don't be shy. My stream will be in the description. Some of the most important topics that we're going to be covering today are the spark mechanic, how it works, as well as the air rush mechanic and how that works, because those are two of the most alien concepts to people who are just joining the game, and it can be a lot to take in at first, but that's okay. We're going to break it down. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to take a second to explain to you the kind of HUD and what we're looking at the bottom of the screen here. I'm going to talk about the HP bands because that's important. So we have each character respective on the bottom of the screen, and then you have the little crystals above their nameplates and HP bars. Normally there would be 4 or 3 or how many stocks you have. That's how many stocks you have left. Now the HP band itself, as you can see, has 4 little sections in it, and each one is a band. You have top band, which is blue. You have the second band, which is green. You have the third band, which is yellow. Or orange, because I'm colorblind, and then the last band is red, and those are knockback bands. So the easiest way for you to think about it is that each band, you're at a certain percent in melee or a certain HP pool in like a different game, and so each band that you're in, you have a different knockback scaling. So for example, if I hit Shira with a full charge fair in top band, it looks like that. But if I was to hit Shira in, let's say, red, it's just, she's gone, right? And then let's say I do it in green as well, so you guys can see that. It's gonna go a little bit farther than it did in blue. Now that's without DI. But yeah, so that's the difference. So keep that in mind. You also have the burst right underneath there, and the electric around to signify that you have the spark. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the spark mechanic, because it's extremely important about how the game flows, and we're going to teach you all of the ways that it works, all right? So there are 3 ways that it works. Spark is when you hit your opponent with a non-projectile, and you get this glow around your character portrait on the bottom, as well as your name tag on the top, all right? And what that does is you can use spark to cancel out of end lag or charge of moves. So essentially, what you can do is use it to cancel the end lag of your moves. So it's a lot like a Guilty Gear Roman cancel, if you will. So that's the easiest way to think about what Spark is and how it works. So there are 3 ways to use Spark. You can neutral Spark, which is essentially pressing your rush button after using a move. You can cancel with special as well. So I can charge and then use a special to cancel, as well as using a move and then jumping. Use a combination of all of them to complete your flow and how you move around the stage and combo your opponents. The next thing I'm going to talk about real quick is that this game does not have an air dodge, it has an air rush, which is momentum in whichever way that you would like to. You press your rush button in the air, and you do not, I repeat, you do not go into pratfall when you do this. So you can do it to mix up approaches, you can use it to move around, you can use it to close in on opponents really quickly with hitboxes. You can use it however you want. It's a free movement option. Keep in mind that rush is a different resource than your jumps and your up specials and your specials and all that, so it's independent. So now that we've talked about spark, we're going to talk about some movement options that you have with and without spark in this game. We're going to go over all of them, all right? So first things first, maybe asking, can I wave dash in this game? Yes, you can, and it's extremely satisfying. It's called rush. Note, to rush, there's an independent rush button. You don't need to jump and then wave dash. It's just a rush button. It's called the rush button. It's super easy. Don't overcomplicate it. It's also faster to just rush. You don't need to jump and then rush. All right, next we're going to talk about hyper hop, which is an option that is pretty much exclusively in this game, and all it is that you're going to put your control stick. By the way, if you see at the bottom of the screen right next to my HP at the bottom, you see my inputs down there. They're kind of like glowing. If at any point during this you don't understand what's going on, you can look at the inputs, so that's there for you to look at. So what I'm going to do for hyper hop is I'm going to flick downwards or hold down, and then I'm going to hit my jump button and my rush button like I would be super jumping, and then I'm going to press that and release, and that's called a hyper hop. It'll shove you forward super far. You can come at people with hitboxes of normal aerials. You cannot use special moves, but keep in mind that if you miss, there's heavy lag at the end of it. All right, so it's risky, heavy risk reward. Also keep in mind that if you hit somebody with it, you can spark. So something that's really unique about this game as well is that you can charge all of your buttons. You can charge your buttons, you know, obviously if it's not like a jab or specials, some specials you can charge. But if you're in the air or a grounded move, you see I can charge this. If I'm also in the air, I can charge my fair or just let it rock. Fully charge it or just let it rock. And different characters have different scaling in terms of knockback and damage, in terms of, you know, how hard it hits when it hits you. And then some characters even have longer charge times on their moves compared to others. For example, Zoo can't charge her aerials as long as Urta can. And so that can mix up and be very dangerous if you're not watching out for that. But it adds a lot of mix-up because now essentially you can have like smash attacks anywhere, because if you charge your move all the way, it's going to hit really hard. Next, we're going to talk about super jumping and the movement you have with Spark. So with Spark, you can use your Spark from the ground or after hitting an opponent if you're grounded to super jump. The super jumping is essentially exactly what it sounds like. It's a very big, long jump, but you can manipulate it in different ways. So let me break it down for you. You can use it to jump directly upwards. You can jump to the side and jump to the other side. You can also do something called boomerang jumping, which this may come naturally to you, it may not. What you're going to do is you're going to input the super jump one way and then swing your stick like a boomerang to the other side. It's going to look like this, like that. So you kind of come out and then immediately swerve. So if you want to be really tricky, you can also change momentum with B reversing during your super jump. So it looks like this. Really cool shit, man. You can do some really cool stuff. All right. So right alongside movement with and without Spark, cool little tech out of Super Jump I want to show you real quick. It's something that I didn't catch on until someone told me about it, but that's because it's so fast. You wouldn't really be able to see it unless you really slowed it down. So what's happening is you'll often see people super jump, but then they don't go the full distance, and then they like are moving their characters around in all kinds of different ways you don't know how to do. So what they're doing is they're super jumping, and then they're immediately rushing out of it, like that. And you can do it, as you saw, like super quickly. You can do it like this if they're to get spikes. You can use it in all kinds of different manners. So I just want to make sure you guys know that. Next, we're going to talk about rushing off of platforms and carrying momentum and how that works. All right. So if you rush right off the edge of a platform, you get to carry your momentum just like that. You see how far that goes? That was just a rush of just a wave land off the platform. Goes pretty far. Crazy movement options. You'll have to feel it for yourself. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you do it. But if you aren't rushing just off the edge of the platform like that, it won't do that. It'll look like that. Right, so depending on which one you want, it can be a little bit tricky. Once you get the movement down, you'll get it nice and easy. Next, we're going to talk about another unique mechanic to this game that is also found kind of like in the Guilty Gear genre that helps you wrap your head around what's going on. It's called burst. So right below our character HP bars, you see the burst lettering that's all lit up. That's when you have your burst. So burst is when you do that, essentially, and it's like a combo breaker. So there's a whole meta behind like baiting bursts and all kinds of really cool stuff. But you get one a stock. So in a game, you get 4 total, or however many stocks you have that many bursts. So use them wisely. Note that you can use bursts in a bunch of different ways. You don't only have to use it to save yourself from a combo. You can also use it to recover, because if you're out of options off stage and you're gonna just drift to the blast zone, you can use burst to get your options and movements back so that you can make it back to stage. So the options you get back and when you get them works like this. All right, let's break it down. After you've used your up special, your jump, and your rush off stage, and you burst off stage without hitting your opponent with burst, you will get your rush back and your wall jump. It looks like this. So you use your up special, you rush, your jump, and then you can rush again. Next, if you hit your opponent with the burst, you also get your up special back. So let's say we use our up special, we use our jump, we use our rush, we hit them with that, and then we also have another rush and another up special. All right, so now we're going to talk about our defensive options. And the one that's universal here is shield. There is a shield in this game. It is not omnidirectional. You hold it to your left or your right. If you get crossed up, you got crossed up, you got schmixed. So there are unique properties to shield in this game. Yes, you can break shield. There is a little bit of stun on shield break, and I think it takes about 3 or 4 hits to break shield right now. So that is up for change in the future. Now, in addition, when you block a move, depending on how much power the move is, how much charge it has, it'll be more plus or negative on block. So for example, I'm going to show you those now. So there's green, yellow, and then red. So if I jab somebody's shield, it's going to be green. If I use a medium move, it's going to be yellow. And if I block a big move, it's going to be red. So that just shows you how long the person is in shield stun. Obviously, you see there is push, like a little bit of knockback on block. Now, another important thing is that you can walk with shield out, and you can also press your rush button and flick your control stick in a direction to rush. It puts shield down for a second, but if you want to keep your shield forward, you can walk forward and then rush back. So that's something that's really cool. So in addition to shield, we have parry in this game, and parry is pretty much exactly how it sounds. You're going to shove a hitbox into your parry and you're going to parry it. So the way you do parry is you hold shield and you're going to input down. So it's essentially like you're going to do a spot dodge, but this is like the spot dodge of this game. And so Shira's going to parry a fully charged fair here, and you're going to see what it's going to look like. So essentially it's going to take away like the hitbox, and it's going to add a little bit of stun. So let me explain how this works real quick. So the parry window isn't exactly super lenient, but it's a little bit lenient. And depending on how close to the frames of when you start the parry to when you get hit is how much lag it puts on your opponent. Like that relation, how that works. We're going to show you charge fair parry and a little bit of punish, and I'm going to show you grab punish as well. So here we go. Just like that. And then if we're going to do it again, you could also get like a grab out of it. So there's lots of options you can do. And then to kind of show it the other way around, you can also parry stuff like out of hyper hop. And you could parry up specials, anything with a hitbox in this game, including projectiles. That's how you reflect projectiles in this game as well as you parry them. I think that's subject to change, but it's important to know for now. The last of the defensive mechanics we have available are called counter grabs. So it's just like before, it's exactly what it sounds like. So when you charge a grab, so you can just hit grab and you see that green, if you hold down your grab, if you get grabbed during that green fluorescence, it's going to be a counter grab. And so if you want to just grab someone's neutral grab, you kind of have to get the read. But there are command grabs in this game, especially on Urta, for example, that you can just grab counter if you react to it. So for example, I'm going to side special command grab at Shira, and she's just going to grab counter it. Nice and simple, just like this. And you know you got the grab counter when you get that little sound effect. And that works for every command grab in the game. Even down special, if a character has a grab, you can grab counter it. But note that you have to be grounded to use grab counter. All right, so next we're going to talk about your tech options and what you have available to you. So all of your tech options but one actually have interesting movement applications, so we're going to break it down for you. So first, we're going to start with the one that doesn't have any, and that's a simple tech in place. So let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. Now the other ones have some movement implications, the simplest being tech left and tech right. So first, we're going to show you tech left, which the window is quite lenient, by the way. You can actually just hold the tech button, whatever that button is for you, and you'll tech left and right. So here's tech left. Next, we have tech right. And then for the ones that have interesting movement applications, let's go ahead and show you what a tech attack looks like. Keep in mind that you can charge that as well. So if you have the momentum, tech attack will slide you off of platforms and ledges, so keep that in mind. Next, we have tech bounce, and this one's a little bit interesting in the way that it works. If you're in hit stun, when you hit the ground and you don't input a tech option, you will automatically tech bounce. And tech bounce actually keeps your momentum from when you're moving left or right. Shira here is going to input right and hold right when she does the tech bounce, and this is what it's going to look like. And then next, we're gonna do left. So you see how it kind of carries that momentum? By the way, thank you, Sheriff, for being here to help. Very much appreciate it. Something to keep in mind as we move on to ledge options is that you have one wall jump in this game. It is not Brawlhalla. You don't have unlimited wall jumps. But every time you get hit, you have a wall jump. So from ledge options, we have a couple things you could do. You could press up and do a ledge jump. You could press in and get up. You have ledge attack. You also have ledge dash. That is a thing in this game you can do. You can also let go of ledge backwards. And the last thing you have is you press your rush button or your shield button. You have roll in as well. Something else that's really important to keep in mind is that the way that camping ledge in this game is dealt with is pretty unique in the fact that when you grab ledge, you have a certain amount of invincibility frames, and then if you grab it again without touching stage, it's less. And then it's less, and then it's less, and it's less. So people get more and more vulnerable, all right? It's diminishing returns. So, you can't... No, we're not looking at a two-dat situation, all right? Just to let you guys know, there is shield dropping in this game. You're on a platform, you hold shield, and you press your special button. That's how you shield drop. So we're going to take a moment to talk about auto cancels. There's two different ways they're done, and it's an important topic because it really mixes up how the neutral game works in this game. So certain characters have different frame data for their auto cancels. For example, Urda, the character that I'm playing right now, has a lot better auto cancel frame data than some other characters do, and the reason for that is because she doesn't have any projectiles to deal with neutral. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like real quick, and I'm going to explain how it works. So I'm going to jump, and you see how you don't have any end lag right there? So you can use that to fake out your opponents on approaches. So the way that you do it, way number one, is you just hold the button and then you just hit the ground. And if your move has auto cancel properties, and you'll just have to test out which ones do and which ones don't, because it'd be too long to list them all, then you'll either have end lag or you won't. For example, if I do nair, it doesn't. But if I do fair, you see it has end lag. That's the difference. So another great example of the second way it's done is if you use a move in the air and there's enough time between when you use the move and when you land, and the move will kind of auto cancel the end lag of the frame. So a good example is Zoo on her nair. If she full hops and then uses it at the apex of the jump and then falls naturally, she won't have any lag compared to what you saw just a moment ago. So sure, we'll give us an example. Perfect, just like that. Wow, what the fuck? That's red on no charge. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any character specific tech, whatever the case may be that you would like to see, please put it in the comments so I can take a look and see what the people want. Like I said before, there's going to be more Rushdown content on the channel, but you can also check out my stream on Twitch. It's in the description. Take care, boys.